Hey y'all, today let's learn how to deploy an Express.js application on Vercel. So the first thing we need to do is create our application. So let's pull up in our terminal and we'll create a new directory using this command. Let's move into this directory and then we'll initialize our project like this. Okay, so now we've created a new project directory and a package.json file with default settings. So finally, let's add Express to our project by running the command npm install express. Okay, so now let's set up our Express app. So I'm going to go ahead and open our project in VS Code, and we'll start by creating a directory called API. And then inside this directory, we'll create a file named index.ts, which will be our main server file. So now we can add the following code inside this file, and this code will set up a basic Express.js server. So here we're defining the base route. We're returning Express on Vercel when it's called, and then we are starting the Express.js server on port 3000. Now, we need to configure the project for Vercel. So to do this, we need to create a vercel.json file at the root of our project, and this file will allow us to control how Vercel configures the application. So for this application, we're going to tell Vercel to route all incoming requests to our API folder like this. Okay, now let's get this running locally, and we can replicate the Vercel deployment locally by using the Vercel CLI. So this is going to allow us to test how the app is going to run as if we're running it on Vercel, but before we actually deploy it. So let's run the following command in our terminal to install the CLI. And then we need to log in to authorize the Vercel CLI to run commands on your Vercel account. So to do that, just run the command vercel login in your terminal. And finally, we can use the local development command. So let's run vercel dev in our terminal. And it's going to ask a few questions. I'm going to stick with the defaults. It's worth calling out that this will also create a new Vercel project, but it will not be publicly accessible yet. We'll get to that in a second. But for now, we have our project running locally, so we can go to localhost 3000 and check it out before we deploy to Vercel. Okay, so here's our application running locally. And now we can test it out and say everything looks great, we're ready to deploy it. So now that we're ready to deploy and make it publicly accessible, we simply need to run the vercel command in our terminal. And this will upload our application to Vercel, it'll build it, and it will deploy it. When the command is finished, it's going to give us a URL to our application. So let's go ahead and visit this URL and we'll see our Express app is live. And that's it. That's how you deploy an Express application to Vercel. I've also created a written guide covering the same topic, so if you prefer written content or you want to dive a little deeper into this topic, I will link that in the description below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to respond to those. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.